Hello, we are live. I see people are already in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I see Tree of Knowledge is here. I see Mohsen is here. I see Asan is here. I see Unusual AI. Guys, make sure you like the stream. I am going through a journey and I am telling you every single step of the way as I'm taking. I'm sharing it with you guys and I'm being very honest and transparent with you guys. So I hope you appreciate that. And I have seen a lot of success, more success than I could have imagined. And I just think that I need to come and tell you guys how amazing this is so that you guys could maybe get inspired to do the same. It's unbelievable the things that we get to do these days because of AI. And because I wanted to make sure that I don't miss anything today for you guys, I make sure I took some notes, right? But before I go through my notes, let me actually just tell you, I'm actually very excited about this. What we are, the philosophy of this channel is, and what we're trying to do, right? We basically are trying to use the new AI tools and other technology to start our businesses and figure out with all of these tools the best, not the easiest, because we are looking for hard work, the best way to generate wealth the most. Again, not the fastest, not the fastest, because it's going to take time. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not going to try to come on here and sell you guys uh, get a rich quick scheme to you guys. Like, oh, it's easy and it's fast. I promise you guys. I promise you guys. It's not easy and it's not fast. However, the reason why I'm excited is because it's clear, right? It's clear, right? So it's not easy, it's not fast, but it's clear. It's clearer than it has ever been. The path is absolutely obvious, right? And I will tell you what I'm, because guys, to validate, before, to figure out what methods work and what methods didn't work, it used to be like this guy says this, that guy says that. But now, because of AI, it's, my researching abilities has also become so much better. It's really easy to figure out who's bullshitting you and what are the actual proven methods. And once you see the proven methods, then you realize, you see it everywhere, and you realize, oh my god, this is a freaking science. This is a freaking science. And then you go through all the methods that has been working for other people before, and the reason why other people are wealthy. Then you realize that everything they have been doing before, now figuring that out every single step of the way is easier because of the new tools that we have. We have a whole box of new gadgets and tools that we could use, and it shines a light on the path in a way that I never could have imagined. It's basically Prometheus himself shining a light with a fire from Olympus, showing us the way. It's really easy to see what the path is, which makes your job more difficult because you have zero excuses from now on. This is why I'm saying the path is clear, but it's not easy. In fact, it's more difficult because the only thing that is standing between you and everything that you want is hard work, not knowledge, not intelligence, because those barriers have been removed. It's dedication and hard work. Okay, and let me actually get to the point of what we're trying to do here now with the AI and other tools that we have right now, right? The phases I'm going to go through, and I'm going to tell you why again. Some of it you're familiar with through the other live streams that I've done. Some of them I'm going to tell you that it's new here for this live stream. But we're trying to turn pains into businesses, which is basically what businesses are, right? Every business has three elements: the people with a pain looking for a solution, and then you offering the solution. So it starts with the pain, then the people who have the pain. Well, it actually starts with the people. It starts with the people, and then you identify the pain that those people have, and then you offer a solution. That's what a business is. So we are trying. What the path. We're gonna hold my hand. Okay, we're gonna go through this together. This is a journey. We're gonna go through this together. You're gonna hold my hand. We're gonna go through the pain. Then we're gonna go through. Like, actually, this is beautiful, right? Let me look at this. Okay, so we have discovering the pain, but we start with your own pain, right? Actually, the first path is self-discovery, right? Because you're not gonna, which pain you're gonna be focusing on, which problem in society you're gonna be focusing on to turn into a business. We don't know. Before we do that, we have to make sure that you discover yourself, you find yourself, right? And then We build the philosophy, but once you understand you, we build the philosophy around you. Then we will identify a pain in your life, or a pain that you're passionate about. It could either be your pain or a pain in society that you're very passionate about. We turn that into a service, and then eventually we turn that into a software. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me actually go through all of this with you guys. And guys, some of you are going to get scared. Here's the thing: some of you are going to get scared because when we talk about starting a business, many of you panic and go away because you think that starting a business is for a special elite group of people in society, right? And that has always been bullshit. Even before AI, starting a business is basically figuring out what people want and then giving it to them and getting paid for it. That's all that is. Oh my god, a bit like business sounds scary, right? I'm going to make it even more scary. So it has always been this simple. It has always been this simple. Just figure out what people want, give it to them, and get paid for it. And then once you figure that out, then start scaling it and try to repeat that as many times as possible. The only reason why somebody is successful in business is because they figured out what people want, exchange that with people for money, and then they figured out how to increase that many times. That's what a successful business is, right? But now another scary word that we will get today is software, because a lot of you think like, but Armin, I was already getting used to you talking to us about getting, starting businesses with AI. Now you're going to tell us about software. Don't worry, you could even be successful without the software. I'm just going to add that as a add-on at the very end. So just bear with me, right? I have a note here. I have some written words here prepared for you guys. I need to read this to you guys, okay? We're living in a time where artificial intelligence and new no-code tools have completely changed the game. Starting a business no longer requires knowing how to code, raising huge amounts of capital, or waiting years to build something real. Today, anyone with a strong philosophy, a clear problem to solve, and the discipline to document the journey can evolve from nothing into running a consulting company and eventually a software business. And that's the part that it might get scary for you guys, the software business. And you might think like I don't know how to make software. Don't worry, I got you. Why am I focusing on consulting and SaaS? You guys know what SaaS is? Software as a service. Guys, in our previous live streams, we talked about different ways of making money. We identified that there's 4 ways of making money. It's either your employment income, your business income, your investment capital gains on your investments, or transfers from the government. These are the 4 ways. That last one you have no control over, so that's not going to improve your economic agency because you have no control over that, right? So these 3, if you go look at the research, and I've done my research, okay? It's not the investments don't make you rich. Investments keep you rich, right? Investments are not, unless you get lucky, unless you're trying to gamble your way through picking, I don't know, crypto or stocks, and then maybe you get lucky, I don't know, right? But investments are not a wealth generating tool. Investments are a wealth preservation tool. You become wealthy and then you make investments so that you could keep it, so that inflation doesn't eat it away, right? So, and employment income, yes, there are people who get rich with employment income, but there are few. And even people who get rich with employment income, they could get a lot richer if they actually start a business around the skills of their employment, right? The business income is the main reason why some people get rich. The main one, not employment income, not investments, not transfer, obviously not transfers from the government, it's business income. And then business income, we have 2 types of businesses. We have service-based businesses that doesn't require location. You could do it online, okay? Or you have basically location-based businesses like a gym or a restaurant or a salon or stuff like that, right? The location-based businesses are hard to start and hard to scale because they're capital intensive. You need to put a lot of capital in it to get started, and then you need a lot of capital to grow it, right? It's hard, but service-based businesses, they're easier to scale because they require less capital. And the 2 service-based businesses that are making shit ton of money and they're easy to scale are consulting and software as a service, which is basically SaaS. And the good thing is that in the age of AI now, the lines between these two services are now getting blurry. They're going to merge. This hasn't happened yet, but this is my prediction. These two areas are going to merge with each other. So you, as somebody who's going to start a business, you get to just chip away a small percentage of two major industries. Do you understand the gazillions of dollars that goes from hand to hand in the consulting business, and then the gazillion dollars that people keep buying stuff in the SaaS business? You get to enter not one but two industries by focusing on one thing at the same time. And I'll show you how. I'll show you how. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I'm exciting myself. Let me see the people in the chat. Hey, Mary is excited. That's fantastic. Okay, fantastic. All right. So, what are the steps? Let's go on a journey with each other. Hold my hand, guys. Hold my hand. These are the steps. I have 5 steps here for you guys, and then on step 6, we're going to review everything. Right? So step 1, and guys, please understand, in every single one of these steps, the best way to do it is to make videos about it and post it online on multiple different platforms. You can start with one, right? And I will tell you why making videos about every single step makes sense, right? So step 1 is the path of self-discovery and defining the pain. Starting with self-discovery. You're building an identity, which is going to become your personal brand. I mean, a personal brand is your identity, building an identity, and a meaningful identity based on a pain. Let me tell you why the pain in your life is not the obstacle in your life. You should, instead of looking at it as an obstacle or the pain, you should see it as an advantage. Let me explain. And a builder of your identity and your personal brand. A lot of people, when we ask them why they are not successful or why they're not doing certain things, they come up with excuses. And if you usually listen to the excuses, their excuses are identifying a pain or an obstacle that they have in their life. But the problem is that instead of, what they need to do is use that obstacle or the pain as the reason why they're moving forward, and to build a philosophy and then eventually an identity around that pain, whatever the main pain in your life is, whatever the main obstacle is. Let me give you the reason why this makes so much sense. I mean, think about human psychology, and one of the best ways to think about human psychology is to look at what humans produce for thousands of years when it comes to legends, stories, myth, religions. Think about the hero's journey. If you want to build an identity that is meaningful, that gives meaning to your life and that you could be proud of, just look at what throughout history in legends and stories, because when people throughout history, when they were building legends and stories and myths, they were creating characters that were worthy of praise, worthy of celebration, worthy of a story to tell to other people. And in every story and every legend, you could not have a hero without a challenge. Imagine a hero's journey without pain. It would not be a hero's story, a hero's journey without a pain, without a challenge, without an obstacle in the way. What you're trying to do is to write a story. Your story will be your philosophy, and eventually your philosophy and your story will become your personal brand. I mean, even before you talk to other people and you make your personal brand to other people, the personal brand that you're making for the audience of one, which is yourself, is basically how you see yourself. So even without an audience, without marketing, you do have a personal brand, because you always have an audience. Your audience is yourself. You have to value yourself, and you have to value the way you see yourself. Before you try to go gain the trust of other people, before you go get the praise of other people, you first have to achieve the trust of yourself, the praise of yourself. The story, you have to enjoy your story. You have to believe in your story before you go to other people. So, whatever that pain is, instead of thinking of it as something that is a limitation on you, see it as a feature, see it as an advantage. Because what is a hero's journey without an obstacle? How could I be in the story that I'm writing of my life? How the hell can I play the hero's role without pain, without an obstacle? So instead of trying to avoid that pain, make that pain the center of your identity. Not the pain itself, but going to war with that pain. That pain is the demon. It's the final boss in the video game. It's the dragon that you need to slay. Your story is a story of war. You're a hero with a sword. You need a dragon. That pain, that obstacle is your dragon. Right? So with that mindset, because that's also going to be linked to our business and what we're going to sell. I mean, remember, if you already have some expertise and you're dealing with solving a solution for people, then maybe the pain that you're dealing with is not your own pain, but you are so familiar with some other people's pain that you're going to go and slay that dragon. But if you do not have a business and you don't know where to start, just look at your own life, find the main obstacle between you and the goals that you have for your life, and make your life's mission not necessarily to defeat this dragon, but to just go to war with it. A lot of people think that success means that I slay the dragon. But when we're reading a hero's tale, we're fascinated not with the slay of the, not necessarily with just the ending of the story where the dragon is dead and they, and the guy gets the princess and they live happily ever after. That's the ending. We're fascinated with the war, with the challenges in the middle of the story. So your success doesn't necessarily mean that I have overcome this pain. Your success starts with the very moment the very moment that you pick up your sword. Even if you haven't even stabbed the dragon once, the moment that you pick up your sword, the moment that you take the first step into the battlefield, that's the story starts there. And the fact that you're moving towards the dragon, that should be your source of pride. That should be your source of value. Not a beheaded dragon should not be the condition for you to be proud of yourself, because or if you do that, then you're going to spend most of your life not being happy with with who you are. Just entering the battlefield, that already makes you the hero of the story. Just entering the goddamn battlefield, just stepping foot in it, and that should be the condition. That should be condition enough. That should be reason enough for you to look at yourself and look at yourself as a hero in the story that you're writing. So start with self-discovery. Identify a pain or a problem you care about solving. If you don't have that, find something that bothers you deeply that you are trying to overcome or that you have overcome. This pain becomes the anchor of your philosophy. And you might think like, Armin, what does my pain have to do anything with philosophy? You need to have a philosophy. What I mean by philosophy is that you need to have a perspective on life with this pain being the center of it that is unique to you. It's not, you need to be a philosopher, but you don't need to go study philosophy. As long as you think about this pain and the way you look at it, and you listen to other people talking about this thing and you get inspired by it, and then you have, one way to have a philosophy historically is that people would just write down their thoughts about something. People think that becoming a philosopher, having a philosophy on something means that, I don't know, I'm an expert and so and so, I have studied so many years. No, having a philosophy on something means that you have thought about something and you have thoughts on it. That's all it means. So how do I create a philosophy on this topic? How do I become a very well developed philosophy and build an identity around this pain? Well, historically, people just thought about it and they read about it and they wrote about it. Well, now you could watch other people talk about it on YouTube and then make videos on YouTube talking about it. And even without trying, you will see, even without trying, like even without thinking that you're making a philosophy around this topic, you will see that eventually your thoughts will be deeper about this topic. You understand? So your first video, you have some thoughts. By video 500, which is basically the same as writing your thoughts down on a piece of paper when you're making videos about this. But the good thing about making videos instead of just writing your thoughts down is that you're practicing you're basically documenting your thoughts, but at the same time, you're practicing communicating with other people. You're doing two things at the same time. Because we're not just going to be a philosopher. We're not going to just be thinking about this pain. We're actually going to be more than philosophers, because philosophers just think. We don't want to just think. We want to solve. We want to go from thinking to solving, right? We don't want to just basically sit on our, in our armchair and just basically philosophize all day long, right? We just want to have a unique thought process about a topic, so that that separates us from other people. That's our brand. That's our personal brand. That's the reason why people want to buy your story, because that's what you're selling. Okay? Because you're not selling. Remember, we're trying to turn you into a one-man consulting business, but you think, why would people come and hire me for consulting? Information is available and accessible. Everybody could get the information, because people are not buying your information. People are buying your brand. People are buying your philosophy. People want to be associated with you. People want to be connected with you. People see eye to eye with you regarding they have the same philosophy as you, or they're enjoying your philosophy and they want to be next to you. They want to talk to you. They want you to see them. They want you to know that you're being seen by them. They want you to each other. You want to bond with you. They want you to recognize each other, to see each other, to create a human-to-human connection around the shared pain that you have. They want to. What they're buying is not the information. What they're buying is the passion, the shared pain, the shared experience, and the accountability. When you're on this journey, if you're doing it with other people, humans can hold humans accountable in a way that no AI can. Because we care about the opinions of humans. We don't care about the opinion of AI. We do care about the opinions of other people. At least some people do care. I mean, some people care about the opinion of AI, but we do care more about the opinions of other humans. Some people are marrying AI, so I cannot speak in general terms. So you figure this out. You are discovering, you meet you, and in this path, like, so we're level 1. So we're at stage 1, and making videos talking about your pain gives you the philosophy, the story. You have to tell people your story. You're making this. You're creating. You're building the skills to tell your story. You're building your philosophy, and you're expressing to other people your pain and the obstacles that you have in your way. So the first videos that you make are not for other people. I mean, when I say you make these videos for other people, is because maybe these people, when you build an audience, they will come and see your early videos much later. But the first videos that you're making are for the audience, for an audience of one, for just one person. Like, you're going to make videos for a very, very long time with no people showing up. But there's one person that is watching those videos, and that's you. And the first videos are meant for you. I mean, a lot of you are going to try to go viral very, very fast. You're going to try to make videos to get you an audience really quick. to build an audience. But that's not the point of your first videos. The first videos are so that you could find your own voice, to understand your own philosophy, understand the way you look at this, become introduced to yourself, become the build an identity that you can look at and be happy with. You're building the mirror that you can look into and be happy with what you see. That's what the first videos are for. So you're making them, you're putting them in public, sure, but you're mostly making them for you. So that's step one. Let's go to step two. Well, actually, yes. That's step one. Sorry, step one is discovering yourself. Step two is building your philosophy. That's step one and step two. So step one was discover yourself and define the plan. Step two is to build your philosophy and believe in it. Develop a philosophy centered on solving that pain. Believing in your philosophy, which is basically means believing in yourself. And your personal brand is simply your philosophy turned into your identity. And what a beautiful identity to have. Right? A lot of people are like, oh, how can we create meaning in life? What more beautiful meaning can you have in your life when you have an identity that is centered around fighting the greatest beast, the greatest challenge, the greatest pain in your own life, and also going on a mission to solve that pain, to defeat that pain for other people. I mean, if these were the source of meaning for people around the world, if more people thought like this, if more people thought that who I am and what I am and my purpose is to fight this pain that I have faced, that other people are also facing, and I'm going to fight this for myself, and I'm going to fight this for the sake of other people as well, then the world will rapidly become a better place. And again, you're going to make yourself wealthier by solving other people's problem. You're building an identity, you're building a meaning, you're making your life matter, you're making money, and you're also solving other people's problems. What could be more beautiful than all of this? Well, thank you, Toro. That's a very kind thing to say. So what's step three? Step three is to start taking action. So let's read. Step three is take action and build a system. But building a system, don't start a system right away. Remember, you need to do things before you build a system. Because if you try to build a system and then do things within that system, that's just a good excuse to never get started. Because then you're going to try to perfect the system before you actually get started, right? So take action and build a system is step three, exactly in that order. We don't want you to get stuck in tutorial island, focusing on learning and improving your system, and that's the best excuse for you not to actually take action, right? Like, oh, I'm just improving my system. Okay, but guys, remember, nobody will learn how to bike by reading books about biking. Nobody will be able to defeat somebody in a fight by reading about kung fu. You could spend 10 years reading kung fu, and then somebody will just come and just take you out within 2 minutes because they practiced kung fu for 6 months and you studied kung fu for 10 years. Somebody who practiced kung fu for 6 months will beat somebody who studied kung fu for 10 years easily, right? So make sure that you actually jump in and you start doing the work instead of just learning. Okay, get out of the learning phase really fast. The best way to learn is by trial and error. So you need to do the minimum amount of learning that you need to do to start taking actions into solving that problem. You need to go read just a little bit or watch some YouTube videos or whatever, talk to AI a little bit to identify the probable best path to solve your problem. But just a little bit of studying, then do more, do 10 times before you study more, right? And then you get the by doing, you get the feedback from the actions that you're taking, whether it's working or not, and then you could go with to basically report the results of your actions to AI to get feedback on how to adjust. And then talking to AI regarding feedbacks on how to adjust is actually one of the best, fastest way to learn something, right? So start by doing the task that solve the pain for yourself. Over time, organize these tasks into a repeatable system. And again, I mentioned last time in the live stream, but I'm going to give you a short version. You document what you're doing in the journey into solving this problem. You document how you are trying to solve this problem, and then eventually you give all of these documentation to AI for AI to create a standard operating procedure for you, and that standard operating procedure is your system. And in the standard operating procedure, you need to also have templates, you need to have AI prompts in there, and you could basically give it to AI to continue optimizing, improving your standard operating procedure. But remember, you need to first do before you create the system, because only through doing, you then will have the wealth of information to give AI the data to create a standard operating procedure for you. Also, when I say document, guess what's the best way to document? Remember, for step 1 and 2, when it comes to identifying a pain and building your own identity and personal brand, the best way for that was, for step 1, to make videos about it. For step 2, to create a philosophy and believing in it, and then making your personal brand about that philosophy. What was the best way to do that? Was to make videos about that. I mean, if you're not comfortable with videos, at least keep writing them down somewhere. But what do you guys think is the best way to get number 3 done when it comes to, because we're trying to take action, we're trying to document our actions, and then documenting our actions to give that to AI for it to create a standard operating procedure for us. Guys, guess in the live chat, what is the best way to document the actions that we're taking, so that we could then feed it to AI for it to become a standard operating procedure? I wonder. You make videos about it. Okay. You make videos about it, and then the videos will be transcribed automatically by YouTube, and those are your notes. That's your diary. Those are your notes. You just feed it into AI, like I would do with these live streams that I'm making, and I'll create standard operating procedures from the notes that I'm making with these live streams. So we're in step 3 to build a system. So over time, organize these tasks into a repeatable system. Document your journey. Again, if you're not going to make videos, at least write them down. Create content about what you're learning and what you're doing. That's the best way to, in my opinion, to document this. Okay, so that's step 4. Now we're going to go to that was step 3. Let's go to step 4. Turn your philosophy and the solutions to these pains into a consulting service. Basically what you're doing now, you have a system, you improved your system. Now what you need to do is to sell your system. So once your system works for you, teach it to others. So basically, what is consulting? Consulting is just basically helping others adapt your system to their own version of the same pain. And again, you might think like, you know what, why would they need me? They could build their own system. Okay, yes, but they haven't. They can. But that's actually the point. You're like, why would people hire me if they could use AI to build their own systems and do the same thing that I'm doing? That's exactly the right question. They can, and they haven't. Why? You keep saying they can't do this. Armin, they don't need me. They can't do this. Well, if they don't need this, given that all of these tools are available, Ask yourself, then why haven't they done it? The mental blocks, the motivation, the fear, the loneliness, the not having the person to cheer you on, not having the person to hold you accountable. We have all these wonderful tools. Why are people not using it? I mean, most of you haven't started using it. Why haven't you started? Why haven't you started? People like Armin, people can do this. Yes, they can, but they're not. That's where you come in. Because a human can motivate another human in a way that no AI can. Because we relate. We have similar experiences. No AI could come to tell a human like Armin, I know, man, I have been here before. I know how difficult this is. I mean, it could say that, but it's lying because it hasn't been here before. Okay? AI hasn't experienced heartbreak. AI hasn't experienced the loss of a loved one. AI hasn't experienced the fear of looking at yourself in the mirror because of the extra weight that you have and makes you feel, disgusted with your own body. Some people experience that. AI hasn't experienced that. AI hasn't had the experience of wanting to quit smoking but not being able to, right? AI hasn't experienced the fear of not being able to pay the next mortgage payment. Right? AI hasn't experienced that. So it could come and give you the best advice, but can it give you the inspiration, the motivation, the sense of accountability, the sense of I'm here with you, we can do this together? No. That's what you're selling. You're not selling the information. So that's what you're going to become. As a consultant, that's what you're going to become. You're going to become a life coach. You're going to become a cheerleader. That's what you're going to become. So you build a consulting firm, a consulting business, using the systems that you create for other people. You're selling your service, you're selling your system. And also at this stage, you're also building a community. And guys, when I say community, a community could be 3 people. As long as you have some people to talk to. And also when you start a consulting service, you start by providing your services for free. Because remember, you suck at the beginning. Of course you suck. You have never done this before. So you do not charge for a sucky service, right? Start offering your service for free so you could get better at it. And by the way, even if it's for free, it's not really for free because they're going to give you feedback and testimonials. So you're still getting paid. But if you were like, no, Armin, nobody's going to pay me for the service, don't worry. Don't ask for money. Say, I am collecting testimonials and feedback, so I'm giving the service for free. So you get your first clients and you give them free services. Slowly you will increase your price. And I'm going to have a live stream regarding pricing at some point to teach you how to price these things. By the way, you are credible you have to believe in your system, right? The key thing is when you build the system, because it's worked for you, you have to look at what you're offering and you have to ask yourself, would I want this myself? And if you're solving your own problem, then the answer is yes. So you already trust yourself enough to go and offer this to other people because it has already helped you. So as you make content, eventually some people will find you and you will start communicating with them, and that will become the community that you're building. So remember, you're making content, community, and service. You're providing a content. Your content has so many benefits. It gets you to find your own voice, and then eventually it becomes your marketing arm. And also your documentation of how your systems are improving. So content, community, because you don't want to just be talking to people, you want to also be talking with people. A lot of the times when people are talking to you in your community, that is about the pain that you're trying to solve, in that community, when you hear other people respond to you, you will learn things that you wouldn't have if you were just talking to a camera. So content is good, but community is important, so you actually hear other people speaking back at you. Because community is also, before you have services, when you actually listen to people, because eventually when you have clients, you could just listen. Your clients will become your community, right? You need to be speaking to your clients often, so you will have a lot of people to hear back from. And when you're providing services to people, they will keep telling you what's needed, and you will become an expert in realizing what the solutions are, because people will tell you what they want when you have your. That's why the first few clients need to be free, because they're so valuable. Even if they're not giving you money, the fact that they're talking to you and telling you what their problems are makes them so. That's basically education. That's basically study. That's better than any form of study. Even in the age of AI, the best way to get better at your services is to talk to your clients. Not sending them a survey. I mean, you're not that big. Guys, forget about sales funnels and landing pages and, sending people like questions to fill in. Just meet with them and talk to them. This is still the traditional way, is still the best way. So even if I end the live stream here right now, this is enough to make you wealthy. Let me tell you what. And then, guys, again, I recently started doing this, and with a very small following and a community on this channel. I have a channel that I have Jomhuri Bi Khodayan channel, which every time I go live, I have between 20,000 to 40,000 views on every of my live streams there, right? Well, most of it, right? But on this channel, where every time I go live, I get between 100 to 200 views. I mean, thank you. On this channel, between 100 to, because that channel is about just making the content, right? Useful content that people, I think, need, right? But that channel that is that big, if you look at how much that is earning compared to this channel, it's less. That channel is now, I've gotten to the point where this channel is earning me more. Well, sometimes more, sometimes pretty close, to be honest. But I'm doing this with this channel with 100 to 200 views on every live stream. So because let me just give you some inspiration. I'm not saying it's going to be like this for everybody with 100 to 200. I'm just saying that it will take a lot less, a lot less to get to this level. Let me actually explain. If you get your first free client, that means somebody has said yes to you. Somebody has said yes to you, right? If you get your free client, then at some point, that I could get my first paid client, because you're learning how to get clients. When you get your first client, then you understand what it takes to get somebody to pay you. And when you get that, then it shouldn't be that difficult to go from one client to 10 clients. Because if somebody pays you, that means this is a proof of concept. That means that you have something worth buying. Now you have to figure out how to find 9 other people to do this for you. And if you have 10 people that are paying you every month for your services, you already have increased your income significantly. And once you get to 10, so remember, the first free client shows that you could get to at least one paying client. If you get to one paying client, that means that you could repeat this 9 more times and get to 10 paying clients. And then if you get to 10, that means that you have mastered the art of getting clients. Now you just have to figure out how to scale it. Please understand, it doesn't take that much of an audience for you to eventually get from 10 clients to 100 clients. And if you have 100 clients, you have made it. The path is very clear. So even if I don't go to the next step, which is the last step, you could just scale this to a point where you've made it. Remember, the consulting industry is a giant industry, and it's not going to go away with AI, because humans are obsessed with other humans. Yeah, many people think that they're better off without other humans, and they're not going to be your customers. But there are enough people out there that want to be connected to other humans for this market to not only survive but thrive. But there's the next phase, which I am very excited about. The next step, which is step 5, which we could now go and take a tiny little bit of another industry, which is software as a service, SaaS. Let me explain. Evolve your consulting into a SaaS company with AI, or a SaaS business with AI, software as a service, right? Guys, when I say provide a software as a service, a lot of you will panic and would leave. I will ask you to do an experiment to see how easy it is now to provide software, right? And what does this got to do with my pain and my consulting? I will connect everything for you guys to make sense. But let me actually, because I think some of you will have your guards up, let me tell you what you could do. Go do this experiment, okay? Go to this website called lovable.dev. Lovable.dev. What is this? This is now one of the AI tools where you give it a prompt and it will give you a software. It will give you a website or an app. It's unbelievable where we are at. I was so optimistic about AI, and I realized that I was not optimistic enough. You give it a prompt, and it will give you the software or the website, and in so much more detail than what we had just 2 months ago. So on your browser, open lovable.dev and then also open ChatGPT. But first, go to ChatGPT, because you don't know, like lovable.dev, it has it basically has a text box where you could put the prompt in so that it gives you an app or a website, but you don't even know what kind of, like, what to say, right? Because many of us here are not very experienced in creating software and apps. And I will tell you what software and apps to make that is relevant to everything else that we talked about, right? But what you could do as an experiment, so that you could see where we are at, you could go to ChatGPT first, and you could say to ChatGPT that I want to make a website or an app. You could say a website or app using Lovable. Actually, before you give it this, tell ChatGPT to study lovable.dev and figure out the best practices. Tell ChatGPT to review that. And once it reviews that, then tell ChatGPT, I want to make a website or an app, whatever you choose, using Lovable. Make me a very detailed, very descriptive prompt to make a real estate website or a in finance website or a whatever you want, or an app that does this, or a software that does that, right? So you're not making the prompt yourself to put in lovable.dev. You're asking ChatGPT to give you the best prompt to put in lovable.dev. Are you following me? So you will get a long, detailed, very descriptive prompt that you would just copy from ChatGPT, and then you just put it on lovable.dev and you hit enter. And then just watch the magic happen. If you don't want to do all of that, just go on YouTube, search for lovable.dev or lovable AI. Let's just search for that and watch the videos on what people are doing with this, with zero coding, with no coding. The things that they're building, the softwares and the apps that they're making, right? So I don't know if I need to spell it out for you, but let me tell you how this is related to what we're doing. You built a system. You built a system that what you enter in it is very clear. So when I built a system and I put my system, I put my standard operating procedure, the way I use it is that I put it in ChatGPT projects. And then when I use ChatGPT, every step of the way is very clear. And I just need to get ChatGPT to walk me through the steps, right? And then you could gamify it as well, which was the thing that we talked about on last stream, right? You could gamify it. You could gain points in every steps. You could get XP. You could get skills unlocked. You could get the challenges, the pain that you're solving could be different versions of it, could be bosses of each level, and you could watch the HP go down. You could build that into the system, right? But what you could do now that you have a really good standard operating procedure that is walking you through every step of the way of the business that you're running and the problem that you're solving. And that's also what you're giving to the system that you're giving to your clients, right? You could just take that system, give it to ChatGPT, and say, make a software or make an app that does this. And then you go, by the way, in lovable.dev, obviously what you get is not going to be, it's going to be look beautiful, but it's not going to be ideal. You could keep it once it gives you the website or the software or the app, then you could go to the editor mode and you could change like, hey, this part of the website, this link doesn't go anywhere, this button, I want it to be blue. You could keep changing it until you're happy with it, right? Don't be a perfectionist. But what you just did is that you, with this prompt using AI, turn your consulting service into an accompanying software service. So when your clients will now have access to you and the software that you use, by the way, before you make software for your clients, make software for yourself for the problems that you're trying to deal with and use it and test it and work with it. And again, this also works with the principle of service before software, because so many entrepreneurs made software that nobody used because they weren't involved with talking to people, and they assumed that they went for the solution instead of focusing on the pain and the people first, right? So remember I told you a business has three parts: people with a pain looking for a solution. Many people who are in software, they're not people, right? They don't know how to communicate with other people. So when it comes to people's pain requiring a solution, they just jump into providing the solution because coding and software engineering is all they know how to do. And they make a software, they put months and months in building something that many people will not use because they weren't talking to people, right? So the principle of service before software means that if you provide services to people without actually making a software, you will interact with them so much that you understand the people and the pain so much that when you're offering a software as a solution, you know exactly what they need, right? So whenever you're building the business, you need to spend more time at the beginning understanding the people and the pain before you invest in the solution. And going through becoming a consulting business to eventually a SaaS business is applying that principle. So what I've written down here, using today's AI tools, you could turn your system into a software, a website that people could use, or an app that people could have on their phone. So you transition from a consulting business to a software business. Your software, here's the interesting one, your software becomes an extension of your personal brand and your philosophy. And let me tell you, there's going to be the whole world is going to get flooded with software pretty soon. So you need to hurry up. And by the way, guys, let me tell you, there's an AI bubble that we're in that is about to burst. And many people, if this happens, this is going to be a good opportunity for you to jump in, because so many people are going to think when the AI, if and when the AI bubble bursts, many people are going to think AI was a hype and they're going to abandon this ship. And that's a good way for you guys to stay in and continue using it. Please remember, the dot-com bubble came and went, and the internet is still here with us, and it has changed our lives, right? So the AI bubble, the AI hype will burst. So many people are going to think that this is a fad, just like when in the dot-com bubble, when it burst, so many people thought that, well, internet is a fad and it's going to go away, and it didn't, right? So AI will come to it with us in phases. So many of it is going to be hype, and when people realize that this was just hype, they're going to completely throw the baby out with the bathwater. Those are, I mean, if that happens, that might help you get in. Maybe it's not too late, okay, for you guys, right? So, but even when this happens, even if the AI bubble bursts and many people abandon this, the tools are still there, and many people will continue using it to make software, and the software market is going to be flooded with so much software. And you might think, like, Armin, obviously the principles of supply and demand will mean that I shouldn't make software, because there's going to be so much supply of software, because AI is going to make creating software so easy that there's going to be so much supply. The supply of software is going to go so high that the price for software is going to go so low. So I'm not going to be able to make selling software profitable, given that everybody and their dog is making an app. That's what's going to happen in the future. Your dog is going to make apps. Okay, given how easy it is, right? So why would I get into this? Because you're not selling the software. You're selling your system. Your system is your philosophy. Your philosophy is you. So your software is an extension of you. You're selling your brand. Guys, please understand. What is that shirt that people buy? Is it called Supreme? Is that Supreme shirt that people keep paying so much money for it? Supreme shirt? Is that what it is? I forgot what it is. Yes, it's Supreme, right? Yeah, that's shirt, like it says Supreme on it, and people pay like a lot of people stand in line to buy that shirt, right? Even though, I mean, they're not shirtless. All of the people who are standing in line to buy that shirt, they're all wearing shirts. They're not naked. They don't need clothing. And when you buy that shirt, if you look at the fabric, it's not really much superior to other clothes, right? Then why are people standing in the goddamn line paying so much more money for that shirt compared to other shirts? I mean, it's easy to fake, because they're not buying a shirt. They're buying the brand. That's why in an age of AI, you need to build a personal brand. Because when people are buying your software, they're not just buying a piece of software. They're buying an extension of who you are. Do you guys know historically, before all of this, before like it was this easy to create software, how would people buy an extension of you? They will buy your book. It was book or online courses, right? Those are people who are in the consulting business. The main two ways, because it's either one-on-one, I'm talking to person, so you're selling hours, it's hours for dollars. But if you want to scale, you want to be able to sell something to people that they're consuming, even if you're not talking to them one-to-one. So you create extensions of yourself, which is your book or your online course. That's what people make. There are many online courses out there. There are many books out there. Why would somebody come and get this online course? Because it's not about the information. It's about, I like you. I want you to present it to me. I connect with you. I like you. I like the way you speak. I like your passion. I like the way I see eye to eye with you. You're relatable. I like the chemistry I have with you. I want to watch your course because I feel a human connection with you. That's what I want. That's why I want to consume your course. That's the same thing with when you and I come and on our YouTube channel or our Instagram or whatever, we come and talk about our life philosophy and how we look at things. And then if I build a system around that, when you come and do a consulting session with me, when I talk about my system with you and you get inspired by my system, you're getting inspired by me. And when you talk to your clients, you're getting inspired is when they apply your system into their own life or to their own problems, is because they saw you use it and get better at it. And they want to basically copy a version of what you're doing. They want to basically follow in your footsteps. So when they buy your software, they're buying your system, and therefore they're buying your philosophy, because you need to make sure your software is not generic. You need to make sure your system is not generic. You need to make sure you make a system that your philosophy of life and the pain that you're trying to fight against can be seen in your system. And then eventually, when you make a software out of it, it could be felt and seen in the software as well, in the app that you made as well. Guys, this is the way of the future, and I am predicting it before it happens. So I know that we're just starting on this journey here on this channel, but future people in 5 years that are watching this live stream, they're going to look at this and be like, holy crap, what the hell? Is this guy a fortune teller? Is this guy a time traveler? You'll see. Hi, future people watching me from 5 years from now. I hope you're impressed. And you guys what witnessed that happen here with me at this early age, at this early time. Oh, see, Alice is saying I'm a software engineer and not a people's person. Yes, see, Alice, and she's going like this. Alice, we could make you into a people's person. Guys, Alice, in the age of AI, being a people's person is the way to survive. Because as more things will get automated and done by AI, it's the human to human connection that will make us survive. And guys, isn't this beautiful? A lot of people think that AI is coming here to destroy us, but AI is just basically going to take everything away from us, except and just going to just leave us with just our humanity. All the repetitive, all the mundane work that we do, everything eventually the future work is just going to be us connecting with other people and basically being human to each other. And basically our humanity, the more you take these other things away from us, the more work it will be. Your work will be about your humanity shining through and getting, and also noticing other people's humanity being affecting you. That's the future of work. And that's beautiful, the fact that we get to just basically notice each other and be with each other and support each other and express ourselves to each other. That's not horrible. That's a beautiful future, I think. So Alice is saying, but I basically hate meetings, especially if they can be emails, Slack, and Slack messages. Yes, I hate meetings too, because they are not, because right now meetings in traditional work involves talking to people who are not members of your tribe, right? But we are now, when we make our own businesses and the more technology evolves, we get to create businesses with communities around passions, about pains and topics that we are absolutely passionate about. So in that sense, in our own business, our meetings are just basically a gathering of the people of members of a tribe. This is not a it's not a work. It doesn't feel like a work meeting anymore. It's just basically talking to my people, right? So for example, right now, if you have a work meeting, these people are just people that you have to work with, right? But if you, for example, are creating a business around solving a problem that you have been dealing with a huge part of your life, and now the people you're meeting with are people with a similar experience like you, or basically people who are struggling with the same thing. So now when you talk to them, it doesn't sound like a business meeting anymore. It just seems like people getting with each other and just talking about what they're passionate about, right? That's what it's like. It just seems like a party or a meeting or a gathering of friends. That's what it would feel like. Yeah, but I understand business meetings are horrible these days right now. But not if you have your own business, Alice. When you have your own business, you cannot wait until you talk to your, and again also your clients, right? So maybe business meeting with with the people who are working in your business with you. Maybe, yeah, like, guys, we don't need to actually talk to me all the time. Just to get the job done. Like, so let's try to avoid meetings as much as possible. But you want to avoid meetings with in your work environment as much as possible, so you get to actually talk to your clients. Because as much as it's good to reduce the meetings in your work, you need to increase the time that you're talking one-on-one to the people that you're serving. That part shouldn't be sacrificed. Yeah, Alice says. So Alice thinks, so basically people I can relate to. Yeah, that will be better. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. All right, guys. So Tree of Knowledge, thank you so much for always supporting me here in the chat. You're amazing. You give me a lot of energy. Thank you, Falcon, for being here. Yeah, Falcon. Yeah, thank you guys for liking the stream. I appreciate that. And thank you for advertising, telling other people to like the stream in the chat. I appreciate that as well. And Tora, you're always amazing. Unusual AI, Pedram, Yasha, Farder, Muhammad, Amikai, Mithra. You guys are great. I'm gonna head out. Thank you, Tora. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys. It's already above an hour. You guys are amazing. I hope you appreciated. Yeah, basically we went from self-belief to philosophy to brand to system to consulting to SaaS, right? That's the chain. That was the point of this live stream. This path generates wealth, creates community, gives you and gives your identity lasting power, right? All right, guys. So I'm going to end this here. Don't forget to like, and also please recommend this channel to people, because, guys, the information I'm giving you on this channel is so important. So please tell other people to come and watch this, okay? This is a really good gift to them, okay? All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, probably. And till then, bye. Yasha, Esan, DT. Thank you, guys. Bye.